Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip, and it's Thursday, May 7th, and I want to do a quick video on some important updates on two things, the PPP and the EIDL. First of all, I'm going to talk about the PPP, and actually, it turns out that it's more complicated for the forgiveness than most businesses, if not all businesses, have realized. I'm going to go over that briefly, and then I'm going to show you the EIDL loan portal and what it actually looks like. So most of you have been waiting for 3 to 4 weeks for your EIDL advance to be approved. Still 85% of you have not received anything, whether that's 1,000 or 10,000. After that's approved, at some point in time, you'll get an email from the SBA with a link to your portal for the larger amount. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, so let's dive in here. First, I want to show you this piece in the New York Times, and it's something that I've talked about in a few videos, but basically the PPP is actually more complicated to get forgiven than people realize. And we did a blog post on this too, by the way, at our helloskip.com/blog. But I just want to point out a few things to be aware of, because it's now people are shifting towards this thinking, okay, how do I get it forgiven after 8 weeks? So here's the article. With thousands of businesses preparing to ask for their 8-week loans to be forgiven, banks and borrowers are just now beginning to realize how complicated the program may turn out to be. Along with lawmakers, they are pushing the Treasury Department, which is overseeing the loan fund, to make forgiveness requirements easier to meet. So that's the main takeaway here. There's a lot of rules around this forgiveness, and businesses are starting to stress out about this, especially given the employment factor. I'm going to talk about that next here. But so basically, this is what a lobbyist for the Independent Community Bankers of America says. Virtually every small business borrower believes that this will be forgiven. They took it out assuming that it would be a grant, but it's not. You have to abide by very complex rules and regulations on how this is spent. Most of us know that you need to spend 75% of this at least on payroll, only 25% allowed for rent, utilities, and other overhead. Now, the tricky part has been, okay, what happens if the employees don't come back or only partial employees come back? Now, it was announced a few days ago that, if you offer employee, an ex-employee to come back, and they turn it down, you're still off the hook as long as you get that in writing that they declined the offer to come back. And that was a big piece that people were stressed about, because a lot of people are realizing, hey, I may as well stay on unemployment if they are only going to rehire me for 1 month, 2 months. Is it worth getting off unemployment to get payroll for a few weeks? So that's a big takeaway. And frankly, a lot of the businesses are asking themselves the same thing. How do, this might get me a month or two of payroll, but then what? And a lot of that comes down to the reopening. So anyway, now that over $500 billion of these loans has been approved, we're really focused on the forgiveness phase, and the forgiveness phase could be 10 times more complex than the initial program. The same lobbyist said this as well. So the last quote here I just want to share is that this is a co-founder of a clothing boutique in Los Angeles who laid off his 6 employees mid-March. And he says he managed to get a small business loan just a week ago, but he now thinks the money arrived too early, since the rules of the program are forcing him to spend it in the next 8 weeks, even though he cannot fully reopen stores yet. So he's counting on the Treasury Department to make changes. So basically, this 8-week time frame is, by and large, hurt small businesses, because the vast majority have not even opened and may not open for a few weeks or more. So I'll link to this post, but it just points out that, hey, this is trickier than we thought. So if you did take a PPP, of course, make sure you're documenting things. Make sure if you offer employees and they don't come back, you're getting it in writing from the employee. All right, and the one thing I want to show you here is someone sent this in to us, that they had applied for their SBA EIDL loan on the new form on March 29th, so they were one of the first to use the new streamlined application. And I believe in this case, the person got a small advance 2 weeks later, and they just got this another 2 to 3 weeks after that, yesterday morning from the SBA, a link to their portal. So if you think about it, this is almost 5 weeks after the initial application for the SBA loan. Something from disaster customer service at sba.gov, and they'll send you a link like this to create an account. So basically, your SBA application number is ready for the next step. Create your SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan Portal. And we've heard lots of reports of people getting this earlier in prior weeks, but the bottom line is that the first come, first serve notion that all of us believed was true and correct turns out that it's not really going in this first come, first serve type method. And a lot of these applications are being subcontracted out, and yeah, it's hard to understand the method here. If there is method, frankly, there may not be. So this is what you should expect if you have received your advance but haven't gotten the link to your portal yet. Something like this, to click the portal, and this is the latest view. So basically, when you log in, you have to verify your identity, and you have to, and that's about it. You can change the amount that you originally requested, and then it goes back to processing. And so some of us have told us they've gotten these. This person, obviously, they just resubmitted it, so it remains to be seen if this is going to be a few days or a few weeks. But they do have the 1-800 numbers again as well to check. Again, we found that most of the time the people on the phones can't answer anything specific, only general items. It's with a loan officer or it isn't. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. If you're waiting and you're wondering, okay, what's the next step? I got the 1,000 to 2,000 to 10,000. When can I apply for the larger amount? So this is what you can expect. All right. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing as well. Try to do a couple more videos this week too, on some other important items, including on unemployment and some other financial tips that we've been researching. Stay well, stay safe, and stay home. Thanks again.